Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Thursday. It's Daryl here. It's about 10 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I'm not sure when I'm going to download this video, probably late Thursday or early Friday morning. I actually added two pieces, a piece at the beginning and a little piece at the end, a little clip here that you're watching right now, and you're going to see the whole video in 1 second talking about the mayor of Tampa. But I go on in the video that you're going to watch, and I talk about stuff I lost to some bad decisions. And one of the biggest things I lost, I kind of slipped my mind. And there's going to be a little extra added clip at the end of the video you're going to watch right now. This video coming up is about 11 minutes long, and I urge you to stay for the last the added 2 minutes I'm going to add on to it, because one of the biggest thing that changed my life, one of the things I lost due to my bad decision to get into dealing. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about her. So enjoy the video and the clip at the end. Have a good Thursday. Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Thursday. It's Daryl here. It's not so bright and early. It's 7 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, this is actually a rare 3-video day. I've come across three different stories that I just reminded me of different times and different things in my life that I want to talk about. And this one's really interesting. First of all, it's a story I found. The link will be down below. And it's an interesting story about the mayor of Tampa and something she found. And it reminded me of a period in my life when I was about 20. I'm 57 years old now. I was about between the years, I was 21 to about 25 years old. Back when I first started using. And I'm going to tell you guys this story. I thought I was the man. I thought I was, on top of the world. I thought I had a lot of power, and I thought I had a good business going. And looking back right now, it was incredibly foolish and stupid. And it's a tale of warning, basically, is what it is. All right, let me start at the very beginning here. This amazes me. It amazes me what was found. It amazes me who found it. Like I said, the link will be down below for this. Okay, Jane Castor, the mayor of Tampa, the current mayor of Tampa, was fishing with her brother, her son, her son, and his girlfriend. This was on July 23rd, just about 2-3 weeks ago. They were fishing off the Middle Keys city of Marathon. They have a vacation home rental there. And she saw something bobbing in the water, a large package. And she's a ex-cop, so she has prior narcotic training, and she thought it looked like what could possibly be a bundles or kilos package of cocaine. And it was 70 pounds of cocaine, or 25 bricks. A kilo is 2.2 pounds. I still remember that from what I'm going to talk about next. 2.2 pounds, 25 bricks of cocaine. The mayor of Tampa just happens to come across 25 kilos of cocaine. And so she brought it back to the dock and turned it over. There'll be, like I said, the links, and there'll be some pictures down below. This amazes me. This is just I guess it's something. I'm not saying she's, it just seems, it's bizarre that this much. It was $1.1 million worth of cocaine. And I'm sure somebody missed it. She says in the article that her family was very nervous that there might be another boat in the area looking to pick it up, and I could agree with them, because I'm sure somebody somewhere was missing. This is really no small amount, no matter who you are. I think it's a significant amount, and it just seems so weird. I looked this up too, because I was just kind of curious. I thought for sure this woman was going to be a Republican, but she's a Democrat. An ex-cop, Florida. I just thought for sure it was going to be a Republican. She's actually a Democrat. And like I said, I don't know. I'm sure she didn't do anything wrong. I'm sure it was all just coincidence, but it just seems rather strange. This got me thinking. So I did all the math, like I said, trying to figure out, because they said it was $1.1 million worth. And I actually did the math back in my day when I was messing around with this stuff. Like, if you don't know, I've been clean and sober since October 23rd of 2006. I've been clean for 16 years and about 10 months. And back in my day, There was a period I first started using in high school, the hard drugs like cocaine. I started using in high school, like my prom. And I'm going to tell you this story. And looking back right now, I realize how incredibly stupid what I was doing, and what could have happened. And you'll see what I'm talking about. This is a tale of warning. Like I said, I started using cocaine in the last year of high school. By the time I was 20 or 21, I had specific dealers that I would go to, and I got to be, I guess, I thought we were friends. Looking back, I was using him to get a better deal, to get a better price on cocaine, and he was using me to get closer, to get into my group of friends, more people to sell to. Honestly, at the time, I probably thought we were good buddies, but usually, in a lot of times when you're involved in drugs, there's no such thing as friends. It's just people using each other. And I started hanging out with him, and I knew he would go down to New York City. He would go down to the area around Yankee Stadium. I think that's in the Bronx. And 'cause I just remember he took me down with him. He was a black gentleman, and I'm obviously white or half Native American, and I started going on my own. He took me down a few times, and I remembered the exits and everything, and I started going on my own. And I kind of stuck out in this particular neighborhood I was going to, which was one of the stupid things I did. I used to rent a house when I was about 21 years old. My mother got remarried and moved out, and I rented the house from her, and I was going to buy it from her. And so I lived in this house at 21 years old, rented it, and I worked for an architect. I was a draftsman. Things were going really good, but I started using, and then I started dealing. I would go down and I would buy 1 ounce on usually on a Friday. That would go for about $700, and it's pretty much a pure product back then. And I'd go down on a Friday afternoon, $700, get an ounce. I'd come back, and usually just piecing it out, not even cutting, not even stepping on it, as they say, just not even cutting it. I'd make around $3,000. I'd have a party that night. I'd buy a keg. All my friends would come over, and it would be gone. It'd be gone in an hour or two. Everything, and I'd make about a little over $2,000 plus all the free product I could use for myself. And I thought I was, king of the world, man. I thought I had so much power. Everybody wanted to be my friend. Everybody wanted to see me. Everybody wanted to come to my house. And, I was the guy, or so I thought. I started using my product, which is, if you've ever heard the saying, a smart businessman never uses his own product. Usually, I didn't bank any of the money. I remember one year I bought my Christmas tree, and all my Christmas presents were paid for. A lot of times I would take my friends down to the beach, down to New Jersey on vacation, in spring for everything for the hotel, playing the big man. Thing was, I started using more and more of my product, and at one point I was just breaking even, like after a year or so. Like I said, and I'd get back from New York City around 5 o'clock in the evening, and there'd be people waiting outside my house. Hey, like I was the big guy, I thought. My friends started to get clean. They started to get into business, started getting their own businesses, their own families, and I just got deeper and deeper into the drugs, and I started using more and more. And then I started smoking crack. I started cooking it down into crack, and pretty soon my name was no good anymore. I couldn't go down there, and I just found myself with a huge addiction. The people that used to come to my house, these were friends from high school. Pretty much, they turned their back on me at this point, and I don't blame them one bit. Like I said, they cleaned up their act, most of them, and not all. Some of them are still lost today. Some are dead, and the people. They knew, like I said, they knew how I was using them back then. I thought I was so popular, but they kind of harbored, and I don't blame them for this, but they kind of harbored some ill feelings toward me for the way I used them. And I was just bad news. I had a serious cocaine addiction. I had a serious addiction problem. I had people after me. I couldn't be trusted. I would burn people left and right. I'd steal their money. And I lost my job as an architect. I got laid off. I started spending the rent money. I lost the house. I ended up homeless for a while. And here's the big thing. Looking back at this, I thought I was the big man making $2,000 in a couple hours, basically. And if I had just gotten caught down there, there's the jail called the Tombs. I'll have the link down below for the Tombs. That's a jail. And then there's Rikers Island, which I believe is a prison. If I had been caught, I would have ended up in one of these places. A 21-year-old guy from the suburbs of Connecticut in one of the most violent, dangerous jails in not just the country, but probably the world, Rikers Island. Like I said, check out the links down below for Rikers Island. That's where I would have ended up. I remember one specific time where I went down. I brought a friend with me this time, and we done the deal. Usually it was just I would just go up into a building and it would just be a handoff. This was small potatoes, really, the $700 in the ounce. And that was just a tiny, I don't know how many ounces are in a pound and then how many pounds are in a kilo. And you can see how much, this is how much money this mayor found, and I had seen a brown Crown Vic before we parked and before I went up into the building to get it. And then I came down with my ounce and we're driving away. And I'm in a big hurry. I'm all wound up. And I'm tailgating. And I realize it's a brown Crown Vic in front of me that I'm tailgating. And I see the two people in the car. And I realize, oh my God, I'm tailgating the cop. I'm tailgating the cop that I had seen earlier because I was all nervous when I parked because I thought it was a cop. And then after I left, I realized now I'm riding right on this cop's butt. And it was, I see him looking up at the mirror, looking at me. And all of a sudden, he's looking up in the mirror and he pulls over to the side of the road. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm screwed now. So I pulled up. And instead of just going by him or trying to get away or speeding forward, I actually stopped. This is just stupidity. I just stopped right next to the car and rolled down my window. I dropped what I had. I actually still had the package, the ounce in my hand. I dropped it on the floor of the car. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm lost here. I'm from Connecticut. And I just started making up something. It threw them off so much because they were going to wait for me to go by and then pull me over. But it threw them off, that I actually stopped right next to them and asked them for directions, how to get back to the highway. And I said something about coming down to see Times Square or something ridiculous. We're nowhere near in the area of Times Square, but it threw them off. And we drove away. They looked at me. They knew I was lying, but the whole thing about just stopping next to them kind of threw them off. So many close calls. I mean, that right there was just pure luck that I didn't end up in jail. And I imagine it's like 7 years in jail for here in Connecticut, 7 years in jail for possession of narcotics. And this was more than that. This was interstate narcotic trafficking, possession with intent to distribute. God knows how many years I would have been in jail for. Looking back, and I thought I was the king, king of the big man, making a couple $1,000s, and none of it was worth it. It was incredibly stupid. And I ended up losing. I lost my friends. Everybody turned their back on me. I lost my house. I lost my job. And I could have lost a heck of a lot more. It was I was fooling myself. It was just one of the stupidest things I ever did. And I ended up with quite a large addiction after all that, too. Just some words of wisdom, something to think about. So the link will be down below for the mayor of Tampa finding 70 pounds, catching 70 pounds of cocaine instead of a fish, fishing off the coast of, off the middle of the Keys in Florida. The link's down below. You guys, I'll be back later. Have a great Thursday. Okay, so you watched the video now, and I was all set. I'm figuring out when to download this video, and I just went for a bike ride, and I started thinking about the girl I was dating in high school. I told you guys Audrey was my very first girlfriend, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, And me and her went different ways in junior high school. Then I had my high school sweetheart. I've told you guys, there's 4 women that I've loved in my life, truly loved with all my heart. And one of them was Sonia, my high school sweetheart. I took her to the junior high school prom. That's her right there. She was an English girl, very proper. We started dating in 7th grade. We dated all through high school. We were like the class couple. I took her to my high school prom. I took her to, here's a picture of me and her. Yeah, that's me right there. That's me at about 17 or 18. Here's another picture of her. And here's a picture of her, me and her making out in one of those photo booths. Anyway, so I told you guys in the video that I rented the house and I was working for an architect, and Sonia wanted to get married, and we were gonna, that was our plans. And then I started using, and I started dealing, and I was keeping it from her, but she knew. And I took her to LA. This is right before we broke up. That's the Chinese theater right there. And one day I went to pick her up at her house, and me and her father, she had a tough old limey English father, and he had the 3 daughters, including Sonia, and he was a tough old guy. But me and him would drink beer. He would be my father-in-law right now. And like I said, we'd be married and have kids and a home right now. She was actually buying stuff to put in her hope chest back then, when I was 20, 21 years old. And then I started using, and then I started dealing, and then I started using my house to have parties, like I said in this video. And she saw the stuff that was going on at the house, and she wanted nothing to do with it. She never touched drugs. And I went to pick her up one night at her house, and her father took me aside and said, "Daryl, I hear you're getting into drugs pretty heavy, that you're dealing." And I just looked all shocked, and I think I even started crying. I think I was crying just because I felt sorry for myself. That night, me and her got into a serious discussion. I still denied it. How dare he accuse me? When I was doing everything that he said, and we broke up. And here's the kicker. She married my very best friend from high school. My best friend from high school. Now they're married now. They have 2 daughters, and they live in a big, beautiful house, happy life. And that's what I lost. That's what I would have right now. She wanted nothing to do with drugs. She told me that. I kept using. I started dealing, and she saw what I was doing with the house. That would have been our house when we got married. And I effed it all up royally. And to add salt to the wound, she's married to my former best friend from high school, my very best friend in the world. And they have a beautiful family and a home right now. And I'm sitting here. And that's what you lose when you mess with this stuff. And I thought I was like I said in the video, I thought I was the big man. I thought I was the big winner. All right. Anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know it's one of the biggest things. It was a big spin out in my life. All right. Have a good Thursday.